Right now, as you read these words, millions of men are dying inside in relationships that systematically destroy them. Men who wake up every day feeling like prisoners in their own homes. Men who have lost everything that defined them. Men who have become empty shells devoid of identity, purpose, dignity. And the worst part? Most don't even realize they're being destroyed. They think this is love. They think this is commitment. They think they're doing the right thing. But they are dying. Slowly, silently, completely. Society sold you a comfortable lie. They told you that a healthy relationship is built on mutual compromise, open communication, emotional vulnerability. They told you that being a man is about celebrating your sensitivity, accepting criticism constructively, seeking peace at any cost. They told you that the right woman will accept you exactly as you are, with all your weaknesses and insecurities. They told you that giving in is love, that sacrificing yourself is noble, that being flexible is mature. A lie. Every woman, at some point in the relationship, will test her partner's strength and frame until he either gives in or reinforces his authority. This is not opinion. It's not controversial internet theory. It is biological reality programmed over millions of years of evolution. Failure to resist these tests is unconsciously perceived as weakness. And weakness, in the primitive feminine universe, means devaluation. It means contempt. It means total destruction of attraction and respect. The brutal truth no one tells you is this: most women do not respect and eventually despise the man who bends excessively, the man who prioritizes peace above his own integrity, the man who fails to maintain a strong masculine frame. Female biology is programmed to test, to evaluate, to reject weakness. This goes against everything you've been taught, everything couples therapy preaches, everything the media romanticizes. But that doesn't make it any less true. You're probably thinking this doesn't apply to your relationship, that your partner is different, that you have something special. That's exactly what every victim thinks. That's exactly what Mark thought. Mark was 38 years old, a senior engineer at a multinational company, six-figure salary. He was always the nice guy, the reliable guy, the guy who did the right thing. He married Anna at 28. She was beautiful, charismatic. All his friends said he was lucky. He believed it. He invested everything in that relationship. He gave in early. The first tests were subtle. Anna suggested they move closer to her family. Mark had friends in the city where he lived. He had a social network built over 10 years. But Anna insisted. She said it was important to her, that it would make her happy. Mark gave in. After all, making her happy was what mattered, right? They moved. Mark lost contact with most of his friends. Distances made meetings difficult. Anna started controlling the finances. She said she was more organized, that he spent too much on silly things. Mark gave in. After all, she was good with money, and he wanted to avoid conflict. They had 2 children. With the marriage consolidated, the tests intensified. Anna criticized Mark's appearance. She said he was sloppy, that he needed to take better care of himself. Mark started to feel inadequate. He stopped going to the gym because Anna complained he spent too much time away from home. He abandoned his hobbies because she said they were childish. He worked more hours to increase his salary because she said they needed more money. She isolated him from his family. She created subtle friction. She complained about his mother-in-law. She made excuses not to attend family gatherings. Gradually, Mark visited his parents less and less. When he tried to set boundaries, Anna escalated. She threatened to leave him. She used the children as emotional weapons. She would say things like, "You don't care about this family," or "Maybe you're not the man I thought you were." Mark gave in. Always gave in. Seeking peace, avoiding conflict, trying to be the perfect husband. Today, Mark is a shadow. He's 40 pounds overweight. Slumped posture, deep dark circles under his eyes. A permanently exhausted expression. His house is an emotional minefield. He walks on eggshells constantly. He has lost all his friends. His family has pulled away, tired of seeing him repeatedly choose Anna over them. His salary barely covers Anna's growing expenses. She buys what she wants without consulting him. He no longer questions it. Last week, he caught Anna exchanging messages with a personal trainer. Explicit messages. Open flirting. When he confronted her, she exploded. She called him pathetic, insecure. She said he wasn't man enough to satisfy her, that if he were more present, more interesting, stronger, she wouldn't need to seek attention elsewhere. Mark feels like a prisoner, without identity, without a voice, without dignity, just an exhausted, despised provider, under constant threat of divorce that would leave him with nothing. Without his children, without the house, without half of what he built. He is colonized, possessed, enslaved in his own life. And that is exactly you, perhaps not as extreme, perhaps still at the beginning, but you recognize the patterns. You recognize the tests. You recognize the feeling of constantly giving in, sacrificing parts of yourself in the name of peace, harmony, love. You feel the growing discomfort, the gradual loss of respect, the decrease in attraction, the slow transformation from desired partner to tolerated utility. You know I'm right. The central phenomenon governing all this is female devaluation due to frame failure. This pattern is not random. It's not accidental. It is systematic, predictable, inevitable. It emerges subtly at first, with small, seemingly harmless requests. It intensifies as the man invests emotionally and materially. It becomes destructive in long-term relationships where the man feels trapped by children, mortgages, social reputation. The observable signs are crystal clear to those who know how to see. Increasing and increasingly irrational demands. Systematic disrespect for previously established boundaries, subtle flirting with other men in your presence, constant criticism disguised as concern, emotional manipulation through guilt and shame, strategic withdrawal of affection and sex, devaluation of your professional and personal achievements, progressive isolation from friends and family. The trigger is always the same: any perception of weakness, demonstrated insecurity, excessive need for approval, excessive complacency, failure to hold a firm stance. Every time you give in to an irrational test, you signal weakness. And weakness, evolutionarily speaking, is a death sentence. The biological function of these tests is to evaluate the man's survival value. She needs to know if you are strong enough to protect, to lead, to maintain frame under pressure. This is not conscious. She doesn't wake up in the morning planning to destroy you. But her primitive operating system is constantly evaluating, testing, measuring. Failing these tests signals a fundamental inability to protect. And when a woman unconsciously concludes that you cannot protect her, attraction dies, respect evaporates. What remains is contempt disguised as tolerance. Some will rationalize by saying this is pessimistic, that not all women are like this. And that's exactly why they remain trapped. The truth they hide from you is that this isn't about good or bad women. It's about biology. It's about evolutionary programming. It's about power dynamics operating below the conscious level. You are being tested now. You were tested yesterday. You will be tested tomorrow. The only question is whether you are passing or failing. Let's systematize the specific tests you face daily without realizing it. Each of these is a trap designed to measure your strength, your ability to maintain frame, your value as a long-term partner. The first test is the silent sacrifice test. She makes subtle requests that require you to abandon your plans, your commitments, your priorities. These are not emergencies. They are for her convenience. Concrete example, you planned to go to the gym after work. You need to go. Your health depends on it. She texts you saying she has a backache and wants a massage. When you suggest doing it after the gym, she responds with silence or an "okay, I'll manage." The goal is not the massage. It's to make you cancel your plans. It's to make you prioritize her comfort over your needs. If you cancel, you failed. She lost respect for you at that moment. You confirmed that you are controllable. The second test is criticism disguised as help. She points out your flaws and inadequacies as if she were concerned about you, as if she were helping you improve. Example, you put on a shirt to go out. She looks and says, "That shirt makes you look a bit sloppy. I'm not criticizing. I just want you to dress well, especially when we go out together. I do this because I care." It seems reasonable superficially. But analyze it. She just communicated that your choice is inadequate, that you don't know how to dress, that you need her approval to be presentable. If you change the shirt without questioning, you accepted her frame. You accepted that she is the authority over you. The third test is programmed affection withdrawal. She becomes cold or denies intimacy for no clear reason, forcing you to chase after her, to beg for attention, to debase yourself, to win back what should be mutual. Example, after a minor argument where you held your ground, she starts denying kisses, avoiding physical contact, sleeping turned away from you. When you ask what's wrong, she says nothing in an icy tone. This can last for days. The goal is to condition you, to associate maintaining boundaries with loss of affection. If you beg, crawl, apologize for holding your ground, you've taught her that she can manipulate you through emotional deprivation. The fourth test is the public authority challenge. She contradicts or disrespects your opinion in front of friends, family, strangers. Example, you are telling a story at a dinner party. She interrupts you in the middle to correct a completely insignificant detail of the story, essentially disqualifying you in front of everyone. It wasn't Tuesday, it was Wednesday. You always confuse the days. The content of the correction is irrelevant. The act of interrupting and correcting publicly is the test. It is a direct challenge to your social authority. If you passively accept it, laugh nervously, or worse, apologize, you have communicated to everyone present that she has permission to disrespect you. You're starting to see the pattern. None of these tests alone seem devastating. They all seem like small things, details, minor inconveniences. And that's exactly how they work. They are incremental, gradual, imperceptible, until you wake up one day and realize you've lost everything. The fifth test is envious comparison. She subtly praises other men to make you feel inadequate, inferior, insufficient. Example, my friend's boyfriend is so thoughtful. He always sends flowers for no reason. You never do that. Analyze the structure. She established an external standard. She communicated that you fail to meet that standard. She implanted insecurity. If you react by buying flowers, you fell into the trap. You accepted her frame that you need to compete with ghosts. You validated that she can manipulate your behavior through comparisons. The sixth test is chronic blame inversion. Any problem in the relationship is turned into your fault. She absolutely refuses any responsibility for conflicts, mistakes, or failures. Example, you point out her excessive spending that is compromising the family budget. Her response, if you earned more money, I wouldn't have to worry about every penny. It's your fault for not being more ambitious. You're making me feel bad for wanting basic things. Notice, she took a legitimate concern of yours and turned it into an attack on your value as a provider. If you accept this inversion, if you start apologizing, if you actually feel guilty, you have completely lost control of the frame. The seventh test is the financial limit test. Increasing financial demands with the expectation that you pay without questioning, without discussing, without setting boundaries. Example, she buys an expensive item completely outside the agreed budget without consulting you. When you question it, she responds, "Don't you trust me? I deserve this. I work hard too. You're being controlling." See the layered manipulation. She turned responsible financial management into a matter of trust and deserving. If you back down, you have established that she has unrestricted access to resources without accountability. The eighth test is the veiled threat of abandonment. Phrases like, "Maybe we should take a break," or "I don't know if we're compatible," used strategically during conflicts to manipulate you into giving in. Example, you set a firm boundary about some unacceptable behavior of hers. Instead of discussing the merit, she sighs deeply and says, "I'm exhausted with these fights. Maybe I'm not the right person for you." This is emotional terrorism. She is using your fear of loss to force you to abandon your boundaries. If you panic, retract, apologize for having boundaries, you have taught her that she can control you through threats. The ninth test is progressive social isolation. She systematically creates friction with your friends and family to make you more dependent on her, more controllable, more isolated. Example, every time you plan to meet your friends, she picks a fight beforehand, or develops a sudden headache, or makes passive-aggressive comments about how you prefer your friends over her. Gradually, you start avoiding these gatherings to avoid the drama, until one day you realize you no longer have friends. You no longer have a support network. You are completely isolated, completely dependent on her, completely under control. Between each of these tests, you're probably thinking of justifications. But she really had a backache. But that shirt really was old. But she was just being honest about the spending. These rationalizations are exactly what keep you trapped. They are the defense mechanism that prevents you from seeing the systemic pattern. This is not love. This is control. This is not partnership. This is colonization. This is not a healthy relationship. This is a psychological battlefield where you are losing. The choice is yours to continue denying or to start seeing. Now comes the part that will truly destroy you, because it's not just your individual partner. The entire system is designed to ensure you fail these tests, to ensure you are castrated, to ensure you become Mark. Couples therapy and traditional counseling are weapons against you. You think you're seeking help. You think you're investing in the relationship. But the entire modern therapeutic structure is based on the premise that the man needs to be more sensitive, more open, more vulnerable. Therapists obsessively focus on communication, which in practice means the man listening and validating female feelings infinitely. They teach you active listening techniques that are essentially training in submission. They tell you that you need to validate her feelings, even when those feelings are based on manipulative tests. They instruct you to give in for the peace of the relationship repeatedly. The consequence is devastating. Men leave couples therapy even more disarmed, even more conditioned to give in, even more trained in behaviors that accelerate devaluation. The therapist validates her narrative that you are insensitive, distant, problematic. You accept this narrative. You actively work to become more emotionally open. And the more open you become, the weaker you appear. The more you validate irrational feelings, the more she tests. The therapeutic system is literally accelerating your destruction while charging $200 an hour. The media and mass entertainment conspire against you constantly. Observe the movies, the TV shows, the commercials. The strong, assertive man who maintains frame is always portrayed as the villain, as toxic, as abusive, as insensitive. The modern hero is the man who cries, who apologizes, who gives in, who sacrifices himself infinitely for the woman. The narrative bombarded at you daily is that true love means complete masculine sacrifice. The consequence is an entire generation of men who have internalized models of submission, who confuse weakness with sensitivity, who confuse spinelessness with romanticism, who genuinely believe that being a man means having no boundaries. You grew up consuming this propaganda. You were programmed from childhood to see strong masculinity as something negative. The legal and divorce system is a financial trap. Laws in most countries disproportionately favor women in the division of assets and child custody. She knows this. Unconsciously or consciously, there is a perverse structural incentive for some women to test boundaries without real consequences. Because in the end, if the relationship explodes, you are the one who loses the house. You are the one who loses half the assets. You are the one who loses access to your children. You are the one who pays alimony. The consequence is men who feel completely trapped, cornered, unable to defend themselves because the implicit or explicit threat of divorce hangs over everything. You endure disrespect because you are afraid of losing everything. You accept increasingly degrading tests because the legal alternative is total financial and emotional devastation. The legal system has transformed relationships into structural male hostage situations. Education and dominant social discourse castrate boys from an early age. Boys are systematically taught to be gentle in ways that translate into an inability to confront or set boundaries, to respect women in distorted ways that mean never disagreeing, never questioning, never holding your ground. The concept of a real man has been corrupted to mean passivity, to mean unconditional acceptance, to mean an absence of assertiveness. The consequence is generations of men completely without tools to deal with female tests. Men who see any assertiveness as sexism, any boundary maintenance as toxicity, any refusal to give in as abuse. These men enter relationships completely disarmed for the war that awaits them, completely unprepared for the dynamic that will inevitably emerge. The system wants you to fail. The system wants you broken. The system wants you dependent, confused, guilty. Because strong men are a threat. Men with frame are uncontrollable. Men with boundaries cannot be exploited infinitely. So what do? Because understanding the problem without action is just intellectualized despair. You need strategy. You need tactics. You need an arsenal for the war you are fighting. First action, document the patterns. Start now to mentally and discreetly record the tests you face. Note the triggers that precede the tests. Record your responses. Record the consequences of each response, not to use against her, to recognize the systematic pattern, to stop seeing isolated incidents, and start seeing the coordinated campaign. When you see the pattern documented over weeks, denial becomes impossible, reality becomes inescapable. Second action, rebuild your financial autonomy. Open a separate bank account that she doesn't know about. Start diverting small amounts regularly. Build an emergency fund that is exclusively yours. Invest in yourself, in education, in skills that increase your earning capacity. Your financial security is your only real safety net. It's the difference between being trapped and having options. It's the difference between being a hostage and being free. Without financial autonomy, you have no bargaining power. You are completely vulnerable. Third action, re-establish your masculine boundaries and hobbies. Resume activities you abandoned. Reconnect with friends you lost. Don't ask permission. Inform. I'm playing soccer Saturday morning. Not, can I play soccer? When she tests that boundary, when she creates drama, when she invents sudden emergencies, respond with a firm no, and without lengthy justifications. No, I'm going to soccer. You can come or not. The language is critical. You are not asking. You are not negotiating. You are informing. Some relationships will not survive this. Let them die. If she can't handle you having your own identity, she never respected you. Fourth action, learn to say no, without guilt. When she makes irrational demands, when she tries to manipulate through guilt, when she uses emotional blackmail, simply say no. I can't do that right now. I already have plans. No elaborate explanations, no defensive justifications, no guilt. The guilt you feel is programming. It is conditioning she installed through years of manipulation. Recognize it as the weapon it is, not as a legitimate feeling that should guide your actions. Fifth action, reaffirm your frame with calm and confidence. When she publicly disqualifies you, when she interrupts you, when she disrespects you in front of others, maintain absolute calm. Look her in the eyes. Reaffirm your position with a firm, calm voice. Please let me finish. If she escalates, if she creates a scene, maintain frame. Do not enter her drama. Do not defend yourself emotionally. Simply hold your ground. The first time will be difficult. The second will be easier. Eventually, either she will learn that she cannot disrespect you without consequences, or the relationship will end. Both results are better than continuing to be disrespected. Sixth action, prepare for departure. Reaffirming your frame, setting boundaries, refusing tests may very well lead to the end of the relationship. You need to be prepared for this. Have a plan for where you will live. Understand your legal rights regarding asset division. If there are children, understand custody and visitation. Consult an attorney discreetly. Prepare financial documentation. Do not enter this war without knowing the battlefield. Preparation does not mean you want a divorce. It means you are no longer a hostage out of fear of it. Seventh action, seek a male support network. Connect with men who understand these dynamics. Discussion groups, online communities focused on male dynamics, friends who have gone through similar situations. Share your experiences, learn from theirs. Receive support in moments of weakness. Isolation is a weapon that keeps men trapped. When you have a network of men who validate your reality, who confirm that the patterns you see are real, The gaslighting loses power. Eighth action, the internal switch. This is the most critical. You need to fundamentally change your mindset from seeking approval to seeking respect. Your value as a man does not come from her validation. It does not come from how many times she praises you. It does not come from how happy you can keep her. It comes from your integrity, from your strength, from your ability to maintain your principles under pressure. When you truly internalize this, the tests lose power, because you are no longer playing her game. You are playing your own game. And in that game, you set the rules. But here is the brutal reality you need to accept now. Each of these actions has a devastating cost. Reclaiming your autonomy will likely mean the end of the relationship as it exists. She will resist violently. She will escalate tests. She will create crises. She will make threats. She may actually leave. You may lose the house. You may face a brutal legal battle. You may spend months or years in a financially and emotionally destructive divorce process. You will face profound loneliness. Your friends who are in similar relationships will not understand. Some will judge you. Your family may see you as selfish, as the guy who destroyed a marriage, as the man who abandoned responsibilities. You will be labeled sexist, toxic, insensitive. People you respected will see you as the villain. And in the midst of all this, there will be moments of absolute doubt, moments where you question if it's worth it, if you're not exaggerating, if you shouldn't just go back and accept things as they were. The social pressure will be immense. The internal pressure will be even greater. But these costs are the price of freedom. They are the price of reclaiming your identity. They are the price of living with dignity instead of slowly dying in conformity. Now we return to Mark. Remember him? 38 years old, 40 pounds overweight, a shadow of a man. He is reading this now, or someone exactly like him, and he has a choice to make. There are two types of men reading this right now. The first type will rationalize. They will find exceptions. They will convince themselves that their case is different, that these dynamics do not apply to their special relationship. They will continue to give in, continue to be tested, continue to fail, continue to die inside a little more each day. This man will wake up in 5 years exactly as Mark is now, or worse, because the tests don't stop. They escalate, they intensify, they become more destructive. And every time you fail, every time you give in, you make the next test harder to resist. You reinforce the patterns of control. You solidify your own prison. This man will live in chronic anxiety. He will wake up every day with a knot in his stomach. He will walk on eggshells in his own home. He will completely lose his identity, his hobbies, his friends, his family, his purpose. He will become a castrated provider, tolerated only for his utility, secretly despised for his weakness. He will face increasing humiliations, public disrespect, possibly infidelity. And even when he finds out, even when he has undeniable proof, he will rationalize, he will accept, he will forgive, because at that point, he will be so broken that he won't even be able to conceive of an alternative. This man will die slowly, not physically. Worse, he will die spiritually. He will become a ghost, inhabiting a body that still functions. He will look in the mirror and not recognize who he sees. He will wonder where the man he used to be disappeared. And he will have no answer, because he was dismantled so gradually that he never realized when he ceased to exist. And when the divorce finally comes, because it eventually will when she finds someone who still maintains frame, he will be destroyed. He will lose the house. He will lose access to his children. He will pay alimony for years. He will be socially seen as the failure, the guy who couldn't keep his marriage together. And he will accept this narrative, because he will be so conditioned to accept blame that he won't even be able to see the reality of what happened. This is the future of the man who ignores. This is your future if you choose to continue denying, if you choose to continue giving in, if you choose to continue failing the tests. The second type of man will recognize the truth in these words. He will feel the discomfort of reality, confronting comfortable illusions. He will initially resist. He will want to reject it, but he won't be able to, because something fundamental in him knows this is true. This man will act. He will start small. He will document patterns. He will set a seemingly insignificant boundary. He will say no to an irrational request. And he will face the storm that follows, the drama, the escalation, the threats. And he will maintain frame anyway. It will be brutal initially. He will constantly question himself. He will face pressure from all sides. But he will persist, because something in him understands that the alternative is slow death. And slow death is not an acceptable option. This man will lose some things. Perhaps the relationship, perhaps friends, perhaps temporary comfort. But he will gain something infinitely more valuable. He will gain self-respect. He will gain identity. He will gain freedom. He will emerge stronger, more authentic, capable of building relationships based on genuine respect and real attraction instead of manipulation and control. He will reclaim hobbies, reconnect with true friends, rebuild family relationships. He will look in the mirror and recognize the man looking back. He will remember who he used to be, and he will become a better, stronger, more resilient version of that. He will find a woman who genuinely respects strength, who values boundaries, who seeks a partner, not a servant. Or he will choose to be alone with dignity instead of accompanied in silent despair. And both options will be infinitely superior to the prison he was inhabiting. You have one life, a single life. The clock is ticking right now. Every day that passes is a day you will never get back. Every moment you remain in denial is a moment stolen from the man you could be. You are getting older, your body is aging, your energy is decreasing, your opportunities are closing. One day, sooner than you think, time runs out, and you will look back on the life you lived, and you will evaluate whether it was a life of dignity or a life of pathetic surrender. Mark is 38 years old. In 20 years, he will be 58. He will have wasted the most productive decades of his life in emotional prison. He will have irreversibly lost years that never come back. And he will die with absolute regret about the man he could have been if he had had the courage to act. Do you want to be Mark at 58? Looking back on 20 years of degradation, on 2 decades of failed tests and lost respect, on a surrendered life? Or do you want to be the man who had courage, who faced the storm, who paid the price, who emerged broken but free, destroyed but authentic, wounded but dignified? Society will tell you that maintaining frame is selfishness, that setting boundaries is cruelty, that refusing tests is insensitivity. Society wants you broken. It wants you controllable. It wants you subservient. But you are not here to serve social narratives. You are here to live your single life with the maximum authenticity and dignity possible. You know what you need to do. You know deep down, beneath all the layers of conditioning and fear, you know exactly what you need to do. The question was never knowledge. It was always courage. Courage to face uncomfortable reality. Courage to act despite fear. Courage to lose what you need to lose to gain what truly matters. Courage to be a man in a world that punishes masculinity. Mark did not have that courage. Every point where he could have resisted, he gave in. Every moment where he could have maintained a boundary, he let go. Every time he was tested, he failed. And now he lives the accumulated consequences of 1,000 small surrenders. You don't have to be Mark. You can choose differently. You can choose now, in this moment, in this breath. You can close this and return to the comfortable illusion. Rationalize that it doesn't apply to you. Continue failing tests. Continue giving in. Continue dying. And in a few years, you will be exactly where Mark is. Or you can open your eyes, accept reality, and begin the brutal but necessary fight to reclaim your life. No one can make this choice for you. No video can save you. No advice can rescue you. Only you. Only your decision, only your action. And you know, deep in your consciousness, if you are being tested now, if you are failing, if you are trapped, if you are slowly dying, you always knew. You just didn't want to admit it. Admit it now, see clearly, and choose, because the choice is yours. It always has been. It always will be. No one is physically holding you captive. No one is forcing you to stay. You are choosing to stay. You are choosing to give in. You are choosing to fail. And you can choose to stop. You can choose to resist. You can choose to live. Men who have reclaimed their lives after years of submission describe the experience as a painful rebirth, like waking up after years in a coma, like feeling again after decades of numbness. They say it was worth every moment of pain, every sacrifice, every loss, because in the end, you take nothing from this life except the dignity of how you lived it. And dignity does not come from how many times you gave in to maintain false peace. It comes from how many times you maintained integrity, even when it cost everything. Mark lost his dignity, one surrender at a time, one failed test at a time, one violated boundary at a time, until nothing recognizable remained of the man he used to be. You still have a chance. You still have time. You still have a choice. Use them. Act now. Because 5 years from now, you will be living the consequences of the choices you make today. And those consequences will be permanent, irreversible, definitive. Choose wisely. Choose courageously. Choose life over slow death. The choice is yours.